Hello everyone, today we will work and talk about Sweep Modifier and we will create a couple of baseboards, cornice, wall, molding and door portal. So let's start with the basic simple skirting, the rectangular one. What do you need to do and how does Sweep works? So rule number one, Sweep only works with splines, so you need only shapes, lines, to create a path. If we want to create a baseboard, what I'll do, I'll isolate my walls, I'll go to my top view, I'll go to my create line, and I will work with the snap. Always work with the snap. What I need to do, I need to create a line that corresponds my interior edge with some gaps, because as we all know, we don't need a baseboard in a doorways. So you can just simply follow and close the spline, and then you can go to segments and just delete the parts that you don't need. So this is what we have. This is a base. And now, without deselecting this shape, we apply a sweep modifier on it. Sweep. And let's take a look at the settings, because what I see very often that people skip sweep setting. This is wrong. You need to know the basic things that you need to adjust there. First thing, Sweep has two modes. First one is a built-in section and another one is a custom section. So far we will work with this one. What do we have here? If I will zoom in, we will see that I have a circle. Why I have it? Because I have a cylinder in here. If I click on it, I will have different shapes. So it depends on what do you want to create. Actually, you can create the spot tracks for ceiling, you can create mirror frames, you can create lots of things with Sweep, so trust me. What I need a simple bar. Then I scroll down a little bit and we have parameters. Here you control the size of your baseboard. For now, I want it to be like 10 centimeters on 2 centimeters. If I want to have radius or no, I can do that here, or I just can simply apply chamfer modifier. It's up to you. But what's important? What's happening now? It's very good example. Sweep has some pivot alignments. What does it mean? If I turn off sweep, I see that my line, it's here. I need it to be upper. So let me just adjust it right here. So I want my baseboard to stick to my wall. Do not be below it. And when I turn on my sweep, I see that my profile is inside of the wall. What's going on? Why this is happening? This is happening because you don't use these alignment dots. Let's call them dots. If I'll make it super easy for you. If you want to create something on the floor, such as skirting or baseboard, you use only bottom, left or right corner. Left or right, why bottom? Because you want your baseboard be on the floor, not below, and sticking to the wall. That's why we need the bottom one. But if I see that I choose like a left one, my profile goes into the line, into the wall. That's fine. That means that I just need the opposite corner. And boom, my profile, my baseboard is absolutely correct in location. What next? Usually I work with millimeters with the real word, so that's why I use generate mapping coordinates. And if you use millimeters, then you need to activate real world map size. If you use tiling mode, you just skip this step. Both of these steps, basically. What is important? I don't need smooth path in this example, because what I will have, I will try to show you like this. You see this gradient? This is a smoothing group. basically. We don't need this on render because that might appear on your render. To avoid this, you need to turn off smooth path. When do you need this tick? Only if you have a curvy shape. For example, if you don't have a rectangular like corners, simple corners, you have rounded corners, only in that scenario you will need to tick this smooth path. By default, you don't need it. Smooth action, you need. That's all. You don't need anything else for simple, basic baseboard. The only thing that you need to pay attention to and remember about is when you have doors. If you have doors and you have a door frame or something, you need to check the size. So for example, the thickness of my profile should match this. So probably I need to reduce it right now. And as you see, you can always reduce it. Like anytime, even if you on-click and you've changed your mind, you need to do something with your path, like the shape of your room has changed, you click on your baseboard, you go back to your line, you turn on dot segments or whatever, you change the shape, and then you go back to sweep, and that's all good. Everything works. So let me Control Z. Okay. About the door path, what do you need? Again, you go back to your line, to your edges, and I usually just leave some 1-2 millimeter gaps between them, so I don't have everything like super sticky to each other. Turn off the spline and go back. This is it. If you want to have a chamfer, and you want to have a chamfer, so as I've already mentioned, you can do that here in corner radius. As you see, you will see this nice line. Or you just can simply use chamfer modifier. So it's up to you. This is the simple baseboard. But you will tell me, okay, but what if I want, if I have a classic interior and I need something specific? And I'll tell you, it's still possible. You can do that. How? Well, you have a couple of options. If you have a specific number, like the specific serial number or ID for your profile that you will use on your baseboard, you just simply need to draw it in any software, even in 3ds Max, but you need spline. You need a shape. I already have some prepared profiles, so I will just merge them into my scene and I will explain how do they work. I do merge, I don't do open because I need to add them. So this is how they look. I have skirtings, couple of, I have wool moldings, and I have ceiling cornice. What is this? Basically, guys, this is this section, the section of your baseboard, future baseboard. And you can do it yourself. I'll show you how to do that as well. So far, you have this, or you can use it in, you can use any AutoCAD or any CAD software, and export splines will work same. How to replace? You click on your baseboard, you go to sweep, but you choose another mod. You use custom section. Your profile will disappear. Don't be afraid of, everything still works. What do you need to do? You need to pick on the section you want to copy, like you want to use. So I click on pick and I go, for example, I want this one and click on it. It appeared in my scene. But what's going on? If I take a look, I understand that this is not my face part. I need to mirror it. How to do that? In sweep parameters, you have mirror. Mirror ticks. You simply use 1 or 2. As you see, one will be top and bottom, and the other one face and back. So in my scenario right now, I need only 1. This is how you work with ready-made profiles. And again, any step of your project, you can change them. You can pick again, click on another one, and you have another profile. And I will tell you more. Until you save this shape in your scene, you can work with it. For example, you want your baseboard to be 20 centimeters. What you can do, you know that you have chosen this profile. Even if you don't know, here you have a name of the section that you're using. So I see it's a Splines 153 102. Okay, is this one? Yes, this is the exactly one. So I click on it. It's splined, so it's editable. What I can do, I can simply, first I can just delete something I don't need, for example, the back one. And secondly, I can choose the very top vertex and set up in local mode the specific height. So now I know that my profile, let's check the measure, is 20 centimeters. Exactly 20 centimeters. And you're done. What you can also do, you can use a very custom shape. For example, I'll create something very probably weird, but something to show you that you can work with. So I have a spline. Spline, important thing, spline should be closed. It shouldn't have any gaps. What I can do next? Okay, let's do some of the, I don't want it to be that sharp. So let's just make it a bit more curvy. For example, not the best thing, but still. What I can do, I choose my sweep, again, pick, click on my shape. Voila, here it is. It can be anything. It can be frame for a painting. It can be a frame for a mirror. It can be a section of a chair or something. It can be lots of things. It depends on your creativity. But the main thing and the main point is you shouldn't neglect and underestimate sweep modifier. That's one. And second, don't skip the parameters, because as you see, that might have a big difference in your workflow. Okay, let me change back to my tool one. This is the baseboard. So if you need a simple one, you use built-in section bar, for example. If you need any classy one, you need a shape, and you use a custom pick and just choose a section that you need. What about cornice? So something that I need on my ceiling. What I will do, I can create a new line, or I can simply copy this one. So it's up to you. Basically, your steps will be same, but let me just copy. For example, copy. What I don't need. In compare with my baseboard, my cornice shouldn't have these gaps, empty gaps. So I need to fill them. How to do that? I go back to my line. I can choose 1, 2 of my vertex, and I need a fuse 1 and fuse 2. Then I Control A just in case I will do the weld, and I can delete the extra vertices that I don't need. Okay, this is it. So what do I need to change if I start working with my cornice? Firstly, you see that because I've welded vertices, I've changed my base spline. It's already in the wall, so I just choose another corner. Then I can't use the same section for the baseboard. I need a different ones for the cornice. So I'll just click on pick and let's choose something very classy. For example, this one. Okay, this is it. What I do next? Next, I need to check if it's correct. How to check? I prefer doing that in my side viewport, like front or left. It doesn't matter. Just what matters, you have a wall and you see how your section goes on your wall. What is wrong in here? I need to mirror it. So as we already know, we have these mirrors. So first, I will just deactivate the tick that I used for my baseboard. And as you see, everything will work perfectly. But what is important in Cornice? Cornice needs to be, I don't have a wall ceiling here, but let's imagine that. Let me just create some ceiling. This is it. And let's imagine that I've just attached it and snapped it to my ceiling. What's wrong? The alignment is wrong. When you start working with cornice or anything that you want to draw on your ceiling, you need to change from bottom to top. And then everything will be good. Right here, let me just try to show you from inside. This is how it works. And again, if you need any adjustments in your walls, for example, your space geometry has changed, you go back to your line. For example, what you can do, we can add some extra, maybe let's do some extra points, vertices. Let's make them even and straight and go back to your sweep. So it will be changed, as you see. This is the very, very quick and very convenient way to create anything, especially for like classy interiors. So main difference between baseboard and cornice. Baseboard, you use bottom corners. Cornice, you use upper corners. You will just click it. You don't need to memorize like left or right. You just basically and simply click on it and you will see the result. So that will be okay. Okay, good. Let's proceed to wall molding, something that's on my wall. For this, I need to use AutoGrid. So my coordinates will understand how to build a profile and how to use a section. I need to use my, for example, rectangle, and I will need AutoGrid because I want to create something on the wall. What is important here? My Z arrow axis, it needs to look at me. So to make things more easier and simply for you, imagine that you want to draw something on this wall. You'd activate AutoGrid. You activate your snap. Of course, you need a snap. And as you see, your axis, the arrows, they might change. You need this position. So Z arrow needs to go through the surface you want to create your molding on. For example, here it's this position, but here it will be this position. So that is like, imagine that you shoot in the to the wall in the surface. Maybe that will help you. So I just want to create some rectangle, deactivate my AutoGrid. If you have, and you will probably have a specific sizing for your moldings because that's more of a classy style. And if you work with the classy style, it's all about the symmetry, repetitions, and everything should be like measured. So let's imagine that we have, for example, 80 centimeters and let it be 1/1600. Okay, check that you're also on the surface, like you're not elevating or floating. So we need to use snaps. What I need also, we can move it anytime. What then? I need to use sweep again. Let's start with the bar. I'll just set up a different size so I see how does it work. And as you see, for the moldings, if I will activate wireframe mode, I'll see that first it's inside of my wall. So for the molding, if I need something on my wall, I don't know, it can be molding, mirror, painting, whatever. I need bottom corners, right? Again. So from top to bottom. What I need else? I see, okay, let's create something classy so we understand how does it work. I will switch to custom section, click on pick, and for example, let's use this one. This is the molding. But I see that I need to rotate it. Like this is the wrong. I need another placement. What's my options? Very easy. You have angle. In sweep parameters, you have angle. You simply just use 90 degrees. And bam, you have your wall molding. What you need to check. If you work with specific sizes, you need your section, your profile to create inside. So you will have the same size, the general size. How to check that? Again, you use right or left corner. In this scenario, I will use a right one because only in this case, I will have the 80 and 1600s dimension. What you also need to check, not all of the moldings are same. As you see, some are symmetric and some are not. And we don't use a symmetric one. We need to understand that this bigger, I don't know, rounded part, it should be up. How to check that? Again, I will go to any side viewport and I will check it here. If it's right, no, it's not right because this thing needs to be up. How to fix that? We go to our mirror and just simply click on one or two. It can be one tick, it can be both of them. It depends on situation and how did you create your shape. But the main thing is this sweep parameters. If you need to create a new frame inside, you can do that. You can go to your rectangle. I will switch it to edit spline. For example, I will need to have a gap between them for like 20 centimeters. What I do, I go to my splines and I have my outline. Let's do the 20. Turn off my spline and boom, we're back again. If you need any rounded shape, for example, what do you need to do? But the only thing you need to do, you need to create a different shape, the curvy one, basically any shape. If even a flower, if you want a flower, you can do the flower. And then apply your sweep with the same parameters. This is how it works. And again, after you used all of the sections, you decided that you will have this section, you can simply delete these extra shapes. But if you want to change something in your current one, for example, you want to change the size of this section, what do you need to do and what can you do? You have a bottom extract. When you click on extract, it will create you a new shape of your used section. You need to do like instance and you go okay. And it has created you this shape. And again, you're free to change it, to do whatever you want to do with it. That's all. I hope this was very useful for you and let me know in comments if you have any questions about it. Thank you and bye bye.